Dr. White, for more than 80 years, shareholders' engagement has been focused on a company's strategic direction, or perhaps their long-term goals would be a better way of putting it, with an eye on maximizing revenue and increased returns for investors. Recently, there has been an increase in the number of shareholder proposals that have turned boardrooms into partisan battlegrounds, fighting over social agendas instead of focusing on sound financial management and business strategy. Could you please provide insights into the recent trends of politically motivated shareholder proposals, specifically how this shift has changed the focus of corporate boards away from investors and company strength and onto external agendas untethered from the organization's financial health?
Thank you, Chairwoman Wagner, for that question. Yeah, I would agree that there's been a politicization in the corporate boardroom. Companies now have to misallocate what are scarce resources that investors provide them in hopes of generating a return. And they are focused not necessarily on the G component of ESG, but more on the environmental and social component. As Ms. Minow pointed out, oftentimes there are shareholder proposals to remove managerial entrenchment mechanisms such as a supermajority vote. Just want to remind everyone that's the G component of ESG, which academic research has shown for more than 20 years is valuable. The environmental and social concerns are that if you have a shareholder or a subset of shareholders or a minority shareholder that wants to push a special interest, they may be willing to sacrifice investment returns if it forwards their mission objective. That does not benefit all investors. In fact, if businesses do not run their organizations in the most efficient way, their competition will, and we compete on a global basis. So to the extent that we politicize the boardroom, then these burdens are just going to be passed on to public companies, and they may actually go private. That is what the research shows.
Agree, Mr. Netram. In November 2021, the SEC issued new guidance that made it difficult for companies to exclude ESG shareholder proposals. Staff Legal Bulletin 14L states that the SEC will now focus on the social policy significance of issues raised by shareholder proposals, rather than an individual company's connection to a particular issue. How significant of a departure is this from the SEC's long-standing criteria that relied on a proposal having a connection to the company's ordinary business operations?
It is incredibly significant. As you pointed out, this is a huge shift in the approach to these topics. What we've actually seen in practice is that granted requests for no action relief post this rulemaking have fallen by about half. And what that means is that companies are now forced to deal with issues that are well outside of their control instead of being able to focus on things that are material to their underlying business.
Good afternoon, friends. I have a major update. This could help millions of Americans. Many top lawmakers are now demanding that more relief be sent out this year. This relief could be sent out automatically every month, but this aid may only go out to a more targeted group of people. My dear friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video for the latest news in Congress. Also, I will be announcing the winners of yesterday's Walmart gift card giveaway, so please stay tuned. Also, friends, if you would like to enter these weekly giveaways, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos, and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. Tax legislators in both the House of Representatives and the Senate are preparing for discussions concerning tax reform. This comes as lawmakers in Congress introduce their initial proposals for a comprehensive package, which is anticipated to gain broad approval from both sides of the political spectrum. Senate Democrats have indicated their intention to establish some form of the child tax credit and make it a permanent fixture. Meanwhile, House Republicans are presenting an all-encompassing legislative measure that encompasses approximately $240 billion in tax reductions for both major and minor businesses, as well as individual taxpayers. For a 6-month period amid the crisis, our federal government provided parents with up to $300 per child each month, in line with President Biden's extensive American Rescue Plan Act. Following the expiration of this tax benefit in 2021, Democrats have made repeated efforts to reinstate the payments. They cite data indicating that these funds reached over 36 million households in the United States, and it's estimated that the initiative managed to decrease childhood poverty by up to 30%. Recognizing the child tax credit's significance for Democrats, Representative Don Bacon, who was a member of the GOP, mentioned to reporters that it could serve as a negotiating tool in reaching a consensus on tax reform. Senator Michael Bennet, a Democrat, also commented to reporters last week and said, "The child tax credit, as we saw for those 6 months, was the most significant domestic policy achievement, and if we can reenact it, it would be again." Several states, including California, Colorado, Massachusetts, Maryland, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, and Vermont, have all passed their own initiatives that offer similar credits to families. Even Republicans such as Governor Greg Gianforte of Montana have introduced their own endeavors to provide this kind of relief to parents. Certain congressional Republicans are beginning to show receptiveness to the notion of striking a tax agreement that includes the family benefit, and some have expressed that there would be a Republican interest in a child tax credit if it's properly constructed and properly sized within a tax package. However, this might involve a significant reduction in the $300 monthly payments that were in place in 2021, permanently extending the crisis-era version of the child tax credit may potentially lead to an annual government expenditure of $105 billion. But nonetheless, the White House is firm in its stance to reintroduce some form of the expansion and has criticized the House Ways and Means Committee's proposal for omitting a child tax credit provision. In a recent memo, Lael Brainard, the director of the National Economic Council, he said, "The president believes that any bill that cuts taxes for large corporations must also cut taxes for working people and families with children." So, dear friends, what are your thoughts on expanding the credit? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Over the past 2 years, the fight for a new state income tax credit for families with children has run into an affordability roadblock. But Connecticut's highest-ranking state senator offered an alternate route this week to make this relief a reality, adding that the crisis, high inflation, and long-standing income issues have left many working families in financial distress. As the state enjoyed a multi-billion-dollar budget surplus, many legislators and policy groups have endorsed a $600 per child credit. Many legislators and policy groups have endorsed a $600 per child credit, which is up to $1,800 per household. Nonpartisan analysts estimate this proposal would deliver about $300 million per year to families. The budget for Connecticut's fiscal year that began on July 1st is projected to close next June almost $1.1 billion in the black. For those worried about the economic future, the Connecticut governor has said he will again support raising either the top marginal income tax rate or placing a surcharge on capital gains and other investment earnings. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this afternoon. Thank you so very, very much, friends, for being here every day and for being part of my community. The winners of yesterday's Walmart gift card giveaway is Deborah Angel and Terry Strickland. Congratulations, my greatest friends. To claim your gift cards, please check your notifications page and send me a message, or you could message me on my Facebook page. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed weekend.